some transvestites decided to hold an insurrection at the Capitol yesterday. You didn't hear about this because, like the vast majority of insurrections that have taken place at the U.S. Capitol over U.S. history, this was from the left, not from the right. And it was far more egregious, if you ask me, than anything the Horn Hat people did on January 6th. Because in this case, a bunch of transvestites decided to barge into the women's bathroom on Capitol Hill.
Nancy Mace! Speaker Johnson, Nancy Mace! Our genders are no debate! Our genders are no debate! Speaker Johnson, Nancy Mace! Speaker Johnson, Nancy Mace! Our bodies are no debate! Our bodies are no debate! Speaker Johnson, Nancy Mace! Speaker Johnson, Nancy Mace! Our genders are no debate! Our genders are no debate! Hey, hey! Hey, hey!
All right, I think I've heard enough of this. These people, they don't have all that much to say, so they just repeat their slogans. One of the people who barged into the women's room is Bradley Manning, who is a criminal who had his sentence commuted by Barack Obama, and now he thinks that he's a woman and he calls himself Chelsea. I'm not speaking with hyperbole when I say this is more serious, more egregious than anything the Horn Hat people did. Because, well, some of the Capitol Hill eccentrics from January 6th were a little untoward and a little uncivilized, messing up papers on desks and moving lecterns and things like that. These people are committing what would have been considered a crime until 5 minutes ago, a pretty serious crime. They're fellas barging into women in various states of undress in their bathrooms. Those are rooms that men are in principle not permitted to go into. But the to run our government have decided to force women to be in various states of undress, surrounded by men. This is classic stuff. Deeply unjust, so we should stop it. We should arrest these people. Obviously, we should enforce the law and protections for women. However, from a political perspective, I think this is pretty good. I think the transgender issue plays perfectly for Republicans. And the Democrats can't pull away from it. Some semi-reasonable Democrats want to pull away from the trans issue because they realize it cost them Virginia in the Glenn Youngkin race. It hurt them in Florida. It hurt them in the presidential election. They realize it's a really bad look. But they can't pull away from it. That's the problem. In some ways, the far left radical Dems who want to keep pushing transgenderism and transing the kids, in some ways, they're actually more reasonable than the moderate Dems who don't want to go all the way with transgenderism. And the reason is that transgenderism follows naturally from the premises that the Democrats have been talking about for half a century. Going back to feminism, at least, to say that if a man and a woman are practically the same, then what follows from that is the gay rights movement. What follows from that is so-called gay marriage, inevitably. And what follows from that is transgenderism. And what follows from that is transing the kids. Right now, go to goodranchers.com, use code Knowles. You know what I had for breakfast this morning? I had a delicious piece of toast with a couple of fried eggs on it, and then in the middle, Good Ranchers ham. They sent me a beautiful spiral ham, and it was so good. This was after I ate some Good Ranchers roast. I don't even like roast. It was the best roast I ever had in my entire life. On top of all the incredible food that Good Ranchers has all the times of the year, the steaks, best steaks you're going to get, especially the ribeye and the New York strip with bone-in, absolutely outrageous. Good Ranchers delivers 100% American meat right to your door. No antibiotics, no hormones, just premium steakhouse quality cuts from American farmers you can trust. When I was a kid, I don't know about you, steak was a real special occasion kind of thing. With Good Ranchers, I don't know how they do it, but you can get steak, really, really high quality steak, whenever you like. Subscribe to any Good Ranchers box, especially the Michael Knowles box, but any Good Ranchers box, use code Knowles, KNWLES, you will get to pick a free gift that is included in every box for a year, plus $25 off your order, plus free express shipping. GoodRanchers.com, use code Knowles to claim this exclusive offer. GoodRanchers.com, American meat delivered. If men and women are really the same, indiscernible, interchangeable, then that's true for everyone, including adults, including little kids. It's true when it comes to marriage. It's true when it comes to the law. It's true when it comes to biology. Now, most people find this very off-putting. There are some people, though, who for whatever clouding of their intellect, They really buy into it. And I think another reason that people are really embracing not only transgenderism, but transing the kids is because it makes them feel special, because it makes them feel interesting. And you don't have to take my word for it. There was a mother of a so-called trans child who had this to say in Washington, D.C., not far from the Supreme Court, as the oral arguments were being heard in the case of U.S. versus Skermeti.
I think the greatest gift of my life is to have kids. And to have a transgender child has made me so much more interesting, so much more wise.
That sums it up. That woman accidentally revealed, I think, what's at the heart of a lot of the trans kids movement. Kids, by definition, can't consent to things. Decisions are made for kids by their parents. Kids are very impressionable. A little look on your face, a little raising of your eyebrow, your kids are going to notice that. They're going to absorb that. They're going to react to that. Anyone who's ever had kids knows this is true. Toddlers, they mimic everything that you do, every thought that enters into your head. And so now it is socially beneficial. There is a social cachet to having a trans kid. As that woman says, it just made me so much more interesting. This is why the Hollywood celebrities all have like 50 trans kids. That's weird. Statistically, that wouldn't make any sense. But this is a continuation. Back in the 90s and 2000s, it carried social cachet to have a gay kid. So you had a flurry of gay kids, especially in the coasts and in liberal and affluent areas. You saw this flourish in the 90s and 2000s. There was no such thing as a trans kid in the 90s. There was certainly no such thing as a trans kid in the 80s or the 70s. Now you see a lot of trans kids. You're seeing 30% of Gen Z identifying as LGBTQ, up orders of magnitude in just a matter of a few decades. Why does that happen? Either it's because they're putting something in the water, turning the frogs, which in part is true, or it's because parents, whether through ignorance or through their own perverse desires and envy of the interesting aspects of other people, they're leading their kids into this. They're affirming them, and maybe they're even planting the seeds of those by raising children in a liberal environment and establishing for them the first principle that a man really can be a woman. But hey, it makes them so much more interesting. It makes them seem so much more wise. That was a great clip. Now, hold up, stop, ring the bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.